Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Motivational Monday. You know how we do. We back at it.
Yes,
The
sir.
start of the week. And that cat right there, King Talent, you know he's always doing amazing things all weekend. King, how was the weekend? What's going on?
Well, I got to be honest with you, bro. I can't complain about this weekend at all. Like, not a iota, not a half a percent. This was a blessed weekend. Definitely the kind of weekends I like because that's the whole thing that inspired me to do Motivation Mondays was keeping that flow going off, especially when you have a good weekend, your Monday should be all set up. That's what a good weekend is. It's to me, it's redundant chain reaction. So, Thursday begets Friday, Friday begets Saturday, Saturday begets Sunday. And if you put the whole weekend together and collectively it was good, you come out of Sunday with a nice, feeling on Monday. So I don't know about you, but I wake up and be like, okay, what can I get done? You know what I mean? How do I stay motivated on top of that thing and get it done? So it was a great weekend to answer your question. How many shows? 1, 2, 6-show weekend.
Oh,
it was
nice.
A 6-show weekend, Thursday through Sunday. So touched a lot of stages, grabbed that microphone and for a comedian, it's like I guess equivalent to riding a bike and roller skating, all those things that if you don't do for a very long time, you will get a little rusty, fall off that bitch. So
Yes,
comedy,
yes.
when you hear me hitting a lot of stages, that's a good thing in that, that aspect right there. Shout out to everybody that I dealt with. Went down to the DC DMV and messed with my man Garfield down there. Shout out to my girl Christina, very funny comedian. Aldo, of course, was in tow with me. We was, partnered up. Then Friday, we stopped in Philly. Shout out to the owners of Lounge 62, Southwest Philly. My man Alvi ... All the comics that came out just to hang. I think that's my favorite part of being a veteran comedian these days. It's like you become this, your reputation precedes you for one. So you become this goddamn living legend, if you will. And now it becomes like to my peers and other comics coming up, it's like they'll just go out just to see you. I want to see this shit. I want to be in the presence of it, like, and that's a great thing from your comrades. You can't ask for more than that. So shout out to my man Alvi ... The promoter / comedic manager, all the comics that came out and hung out. And then Saturday we went to Arugas, which you got to check it out one day. Amir is in North Plainfield.
Okay.
And again, the Tolson couple, Cordell and his wife Annika, they just broke the whole sports bar restaurant into half and kind of basically made a comedy club out of one side of the joint. And it looks like they're about to expand even more. But they always roll out the red carpet. It's always a stone cold blast. I brought your man out with me this weekend. I got him up off his sofa. The original mayor of Rap City, BET's Rap City, Chris Thomas. So I had Chris Thomas with me, Charles Walden, another one of my favorites, and Dante Carter, and Aldo did some host work for me there as well. So great weekend, man. Top to bottom, not mad at it. Actually got in today, this earlier in the afternoon, like right before box seats. Got in and we're doing, work around the house. So that ate up the time. So that, again, motivated. Stuff I've been walking by for over a year. Yeah, we'll get to it. It's getting done. Slowly but surely, all the things are getting done. And you got to do it early these days because, like we talked about, the weather is a scorcher.
It's a scorcher, man. Listen, it was an absolutely solid weekend. The weather was unbelievably hot, but you know what? It is what it is. You take it with a grain of salt and you just try to figure out how to move and shake. Friday was a bit of a quiet evening. Saturday was really the kickoff. My eldest daughter turned 28, so my cousin, my daughter, and as it turned out, 4 other vendors that I know did a pop-up brunch up in the Bronx, up on Tremont Avenue. Shout out to 1010 Lounge, 806 East Tremont Avenue. If y'all get a chance, go on, check them out. Really nice Black-owned restaurant, West Indian restaurant. Really cool. But it was just to your point about motivation. What really got me was, my daughter's 28. She has two beautiful children, and she's, started her own clothing line, Beloved, along with her boyfriend. And when I tell you, to come into the space and to see her with a table set up, a line, she's got something, especially for you ladies. I say this humbly, but I say this with, a bit of truth to it. I think it's been a long time since the ladies have technically had a line that, spoke to femininity. I think the last line that y'all had that probably, gave y'all that kind of energy was probably Baby Fat. And since then, yes, y'all got Adidas and, Nike and so forth and so on. But it's not the same. I think that those are predominantly, male lines. They're done by men. Yes, they have some women who design some things so you can get some nice stuff. But I'm talking about something that speaks to curves. It speaks to femininity. It speaks to that whole ability. And I think my daughter's Beloved line, when I say it's off the chain, it's off the chain. And that's not because it's my daughter. I just know that I'm one of those guys that like to see women look like women. So I want us to, get back to that. Men looking like men, which means pull up your pants, put your belt on properly, and women looking like women. You got curves. You look like something. You're beautiful. Let's do it. So that was a phenomenal day Saturday. Then yesterday, some of my other cats who all last year or, prior to obviously the pandemic, have a beautiful thing that they do on Sundays at Glenroy's up in the Bronx. And I just love it because it's old school. It's just nothing but old school music. And T, on Sundays, I tell you, brother, it is just one of the nicest get-togethers you can, possibly go to, because you're not going to hear nothing but Stephanie Mills and Stevie Wonder and Fat Boys and, things of that magnitude. So you get in there and it's almost like reliving your youth, but as an adult. And then, the amount of basketball players, the amount of, various people who you see coming in and, a part of it is incredible as well. So that was yesterday. We obviously had that, I don't even want to call it a fight, that comedy show with Paul and Floyd Mayweather. That was a comedy show. So bless those two guys. But two things that I did want to bring up that, I would be remiss if we don't bring up. First of all, we lost Clarence Williams III. Incredible actor. And for anybody who may or may not know who I'm speaking of, I'm just going to name a few of this man's projects, and this should give you an idea. We talk about the cat from Mod Squad, Tales from the Hood, Hoodlum. He played the father in Purple Rain. He was in Sugar Hill, Deep Cover. Don't you reach for that! Don't you reach for your gun! I'm gonna get you, sucker. And the reason why I had to bring him up is because I forgot how many scenes and how many movies he's stolen with those moments. Like, you go back and you look in and think about all of those moments in the movies that he's been in, and he absolutely steals those scenes and steals the movie with just those pieces. So that just goes, speaks to how amazing an actor, this gentleman was. So,
well, my favorite shit, you just yelled out a line, but my favorite shit is, oh, you want the shit.
Yes.
Oh, the shit. Oh, you want the shit. Tales from the Hoodie. That shit was so spooky. I was like, what's going on there? Somebody put in there about your daughter's clothing line. My first thing to you is, she was like, where could they see it or whatever? You need to connect with Ray DeJean with the new store in Brooklyn. Because we all, that's what the store is. It's just he transformed the store, and this goes to motivation. Like, it was a dry cleaner spot, and he just seen a bigger, better avenue. It's like, you know what? He's seen all the shows that he produced, and we all show up, and we got our merch, and we're selling it. And he was like, you know what? Why don't I just be the store for all these people with merch? I know April Walker from Walker Wear. His daughter got a line. He got the Laughaholics comedy line. A couple other comics that myself. He's like, it's a no-brainer to open an apparel store. You know what I mean? And have all black-owned, designers and clothing and stuff, whether it's T-shirt, hoodie, hat, so you need to talk to him and go in there and get a, what do you call it, like space, you know what I mean? Get a wall, get some space, so your daughter can have a place that, just like somebody just said, oh, how could I see it or whatever? So there's a place that you can just go to, walk in there and physically see it, and it's right off of Flatbush, you know what I mean? Willoughby and Flatbush. So remind me when we get off to do that linkage, and then
Okay.
if any good time, she's in Brooklyn with you.
She's in she's actually up in Yonkers, but
Okay. Either way,
she's always moving and shaking and trying to make sure. For those who have asked, she's on Instagram. It's beloved drip and .ny. Beloved BELOVED DRIP.NY.
So
That's on
beloved
Instagram.
drip.ny.
.ny.
Okay. Yeah. So and we'll definitely get you guys. Look, you're staying in Brooklyn, so just go by there. You'll see what I'm talking about. And what I like is he leased out the area and space. If you go on Ray DeJean's Instagram, there's pictures and videos up there where you can see what I'm talking about. And the space next door, which was just a outdoor space, he leased that out and turned it into an outdoor venue. So he does brunches and the comedy shows and the bands and all types of stuff. Get the lights hanging, some sexy outdoor type thing with a professional stage and lights. And the good thing about it is you don't have to sit up there with a table and sell the merch because it's right connected to the store. So you'll be like, hey man, grab my t-shirts, whatever. And people come right out there, and he always has a store open for whether it's an in-store thing or a show going on. So there'll definitely be a dope linkage for you, bro. And thank you for shouting out Clarence, man, because Clarence, the third, this brother here is, iconic status as a black actor. And it's one thing to do a lot of work over the years, like Yaphet Kotto on them. It's a whole nother thing to be dope at it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can mention people all the time that, we lost the guy, he was the actor in this, or this guy acted in that. And there's another thing to be one of them dope ass, iconic ass, body of work ass.
Yes.
Dope kings or queens of this. Like when we talked about Cicely Tyson. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like you said, and then like I said, for him, what made me really smile is, like I said, when you look at specific movies, like I said, you just remember those lines. In Hoodlum, when Lawrence Fishburne hit him with the, "How do you sleep with yourself?" and he hit Lawrence Fishburne back with that, "Who says I sleep?" Yo, son, he got so many dope iconic lines. It's not even funny. You sit here and you be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that." A Cat on My Job. I had forgot that he was even in Purple Rain. He was like, "Amir, you don't remember? He smacked Prince." I was like, "That's right." Holy! I said, I forgot all about that. So you just forget again how amazing a job that this man has done, and that brings me to the last point. Today is obviously the late great Prince's birthday. So a mad shout out to that gentleman as well. One of music's, and our total icons, bar none. You can feel any kind of way you want about that dude, but musically, untouchable. Just an incredible mind and an incredible musician and seems to be an incredible human being for those who, knew him that well. But with that, like I said, it's Motivational Monday. Yeah. And in all fairness, all of these things brought me to this space and to this energy today, because I started thinking to myself how each and every one of these situations has added to what we're talking about, which is motivation. So, like I said, whether you're looking at a guy like Clarence Williams III, who, to Talent's point just now, this is a man who literally, like I said, if you start going back and you start looking at those movies and looking at those moments, you'll just be either laughing or you'll be like, yeah, he really did kill that scene. I'm gonna get you, sucker. If y'all forgot, remember he was the father with the white kids and the white wife. Yes, son. Yes. So when I tell you the dude got classic moments like that, bar none, he got super classic.
I'm glad he lived a long, nice, lengthy life. It's no matter what. I think when you love people and you miss them, it's always going to seem gone too soon. But if a person can get 80, 90 years, 100 by the grace of God through this thing, that's a blessing to me. Also, speaking of motivating and shouting people out, we got to shout out one of my New York kings of comedy, original king of comedy out of New York, my friend Gerald Kelly.
Yes.
Him and his son, Hunter, was featured on America's Got Talent.
Yes, they were.
And it was nice to see them on there doing their thing. And I know how hard Gerald works, especially with the family. When it comes to this comedy thing, he has 3 sons that are doing comedy, and they have a whole show where, you know, Gerald's already a headliner in his own right, but and so is Isaiah becoming into his own. But then
Yes.
Hunter, you know, on the other side, there's three of them that come
Yes.
behind him. So it was really good to see them, you know, on the TV screen, because I don't watch that show. You know, I'm not a big fan of competitions. That's a whole nother story. But I see my people's going to be on there. I heard about it, and I made sure that I went back to check it out, you know, so they could get that view and support and all that good stuff. So shout out and congratulations to the Kelly family. Gerald
Yes.
Kelly, little Hunter, showing up there looking good, you know, looking
Yes.
good.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that black skin don't crack. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So shout out to them and all that good stuff. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a great weekend, and it was a weekend of work, not overexerting, paying attention, learning, and dropping jewels. When you collectively put all that together, you got to walk away with something positive. You know what I mean? You got to walk away with something positive. You know, and I tell people all the time, because I do a lot of teaching, people will think that you don't learn. I got to say this: you never stop learning.
No.
None of us are got it to the point where we just stop learning. Okay, I'm 38. I've officially stopped learning. Anybody need to know something? Come see me. Fuck out of here. You're still going to be learning too. Everybody, nobody stops learning. And I learned that it was an epiphany moment. I'm watching. I don't know if you've seen this new show, Jupiter's Legacy, on Netflix. Now, if you like superhero shows, it's a great show. It's you know, superhero show, and it starts with these 6 superheroes, and now you fast forward. You know, the main guy, he got kids, and they got the powers and all that stuff. But at the same time they're dealing in now, they keep flashing back, showing you the background of the main guys and how they got these powers or whatever. It's this whole thing about the family, the father kills us, all this stuff. And it was very interesting when they finally get to this part where, you know, it's messing with his head, and he gets these group of 6 together, and he's like, yo, y'all got to go with me. We got to take a mission to Morocco. Now, all he could tell people was, you know, I'm going to pay you. You know, he can't tell them exactly what the fuck they're going to do, because he don't know. He's just driven, right? So they get to Morocco, they see this weird-ass, they get on a boat, weird-ass land, they go in there, and there's all these things, like the island that they get on is testing them the whole time. And they keep one test after the other to see if they are worthy what's about to be bestowed upon them, which is these powers. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it comes to mind on Motivation Monday because of the testing. Yes. You know how we always tell people, we always try to push people, yo, be motivated, get up, get some shit done, help one another, do unto others, and all that stuff. And what we got to realize is everyone at some point in their life has to get to a place of worthiness. You have to get to a place of worthiness. And that's why everybody's not motivated every single day. You understand what I'm saying? Because some of us are built or wired, if you will, different than others. Yes. So you got that one guy that goes through life because of he's programmed in the motions that he sees on a daily basis. So he moves accordingly. He don't challenge shit. He don't want no more. He don't want no less. He just moves through the motions of what he sees. Like, funny, it reminds me of the scene, episode 2 of this new season of The Shot. You know, the main little boy, his mother like, boy, I'm gonna smack you. And he just turns to his mother and says with the most calm face, he's like, you always saying you're gonna smack somebody, but you never do. It was the most earnest, like, yo, son, this shit was funny because, you know, your mother be like, shut your mouth while I smack. Like the regular black household, and she snatched the phone, get the goddamn phone, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, don't get smacked. And he was like, you always say you're going to smack somebody, but you never smack nobody. Yo, 5 minutes later, he said some shit. He said, yo, that hurt. She said, it was supposed to. It was the funniest scene because we have people. That scene in what is it called again? Jupiter's Legacy. It's on Netflix. That scene was so deep. It just in the dialogue. You know,
Yes.
and what happened is let's just say is alien forces or angels or whatever. The people that come down to let them know, hey, you reached it this far because you're worthy. It
Hmm.
came to them in the form that relaxed each one. So
Oh
two dudes
wow.
were brothers, so they came. It came in the form of the dead father. The black
Wow.
dude came as his mom's. You know, it came as this
Mm.
one's sister, this one's brother. But it came in these forms that so that they were just like calm and listening or whatever, taking it. But when you see all they went through to get to this point where it was like, yo, you have congratulations, you have been deemed worthy. That's the problem with motivation with some of us. Some of us
Yeah. Wow.
don't get to be motivated or don't choose to be motivated because we are what the word is complacent. We do just enough. We know
Wow.
what our day looks like on a regular basis, and we show up. Round of applause because you show up. God bless you. But you show up and you don't do no more, no less. You do what you know you need to do to get through that day or that week or that Monday or whatever, and then that's it. Some of us are not at a stage of worthy to take the motivation and expound on it, if you will, or be consistent with it.
You know, it's so funny that you said that, man. To add to, what you just said, I think, the other challenge with, trying to figure out your worthiness, and, this speaks to something that we talk about as well, quite often on our Motivational Monday, is self-love. Um, I had the opportunity to, have a few conversations this weekend. My weekends are always, I'm half having fun and, doing fun stuff, and then the other half is counseling. So I had the beauty of counseling, a few of my female friends who, was walking them off the ledge with a few different things. One in particular, very good friend of mine, she has a cousin who, she says is on suicide, her male cousin is on suicide watch. So, she's been trying to get him in the mind frame and mindset to something you exactly just touched on, which is worthiness. And his whole, ideology is nobody cares and nobody loves me and the world is hard and this and that and the third. And here's the reality of that for a lot of people. And I think that one of the real caveats of us, trying to get to spaces not only where we're worthy, but where we love ourselves. The most two of the most powerful things that you have at your disposal on a constant basis are your thoughts and the words that come out of your mouth. Those are the two most powerful things you constantly have at your disposal. The reason why I bring both of these things to light is because for each and every one of us, you have the ability to create. I'm going to say that again. You have the ability to create whatever it is you truly want to see happening in your life and in your world. But you also have the ability to not create it by also using your words negatively and using your thoughts negatively. So it behooves everybody to work really hard at keeping your thoughts as positive as you can, and most certainly keeping your words as positive as you can. Because when people don't utilize those two ideologies, what they find themselves in is exactly what I was just explaining to you with the world hates me and nobody likes me. Think about that. If you're saying that to yourself and or saying it to the universe, what do you think the universe is going to respond with? Talent and I are walking examples of always talking about how we get through specific things because we give, because we're always, trying to motivate people, because we're always trying to, have people raise their level of energy. So if you're not doing that, what do you think the opposite of that is? So when you find yourself in these spaces, it behooves you to go, okay, I got to change my energy up. I got to change the way I'm talking about myself. I got to change the way I think and see the world. I tell everybody the blessings that I seem to reap on a constant basis are because of the blessings that I try to give, good, bad, and indifferent.
Right.
I spoke to y'all a second ago and I said, I went up to the Bronx yesterday and I was, like I said, at Glenroy's. So I'm leaving Glenroy's to come back to BK. And I stopped in Burger King. Yeah, I mess with Burger King too. I told y'all I'm not perfect. I eat trash too sometimes. But long story short, I got myself two of the chicken sandwiches. So I get down in the train station, and true to form, this bum comes walking past me. Homeless person. I shouldn't say bum. I don't know what the man's situation was, but he was in pretty bad shape. And literally, I had just bought the 2 sandwiches. And I said, you know what? I don't need 2 sandwiches. So I go over and I give the gentleman one of the sandwiches and, a few napkins. And he looked up at me and he was like, wow, thank you. And I said, look, brother, hopefully, this will allow you to put something on your stomach. I don't know what your story is. And, just God bless you, whatever. The man sat there. He started eating the sandwich, and then the train came, and he jumped on, a different train. I had to take a different train, but he sure enough jumped on the train and went on about his business. But all I can tell y'all is, for me personally, I said to myself, if nothing else, and if he did finish that sandwich, I know I helped somebody eat yesterday. I wasn't trying to do it for any specific reason other than I saw a human being who looked like he needed help, and I could help him. End of story. Whatever blessings are going to come from that, good, bad, indifferent, I don't really worry about. What I do know is I was able to help that gentleman in that moment. And I think when we start subscribing to that train of thought, when we start subscribing to that ideology, when we start moving in that vein and in that energy, you'll be surprised at how many other amazing things open up for you and to you because you did something just with the kindness and with, the heart that it deserves. Not because you was looking for something. I get it. Are there situations where sometimes you do something and you're looking for an immediate return? Yeah. You go to the restaurant and you pay your goddamn bill and stuff like that. But in regular everyday life, technically, hopefully you should be saying to yourself, I'm doing things to make the world a better place. Thank you. Can I help you? Please. Sorry. Excuse me. All of these simple things that don't require any real energy other than you just doing them. And not for the gram, and not for likes or for whatever, just because it's the right thing to do. We live in such a warped world right now with everybody having been inundated for the last year and some change with all of the craziness that, keeps coming at you on a constant basis, from everything on the internet to the news and so forth and so on, that we've forgotten how to be just plain old humane. That's the most important thing that we can all do. That's the most godly-like thing we can do. Exactly. It's not books. It's not the Bible. It's not pray. It's just do things to help your fellow man or woman. Plain and simple. And that's if you can, because sometimes you can't. I've been in situations where I really wanted to help somebody, and I was like, right now, I just can't. But I did say in my mind, hey, I hope whatever they're going through and however they can, get some help, I'll pray for them. I'll pray for it, and hopefully they'll, that'll eventually, get them in the space that they need to be in. That's how we got to start thinking, y'all. The checking in. I say that to y'all all the time. Y'all see these weird stories of people checking out because nobody's checked in on them, or friends and family of yours who say, nobody loves me. I had another conversation with a very great friend of mine this weekend. She said, Amir, none of my friends check on me unless I check on them. I said, who cares? I said, you know what you need to worry about? Worry about the people who do check on you. Yeah. The ones who don't check on you, don't worry about them. There's nothing you can do about that. Don't keep beating yourself up about people and things that obviously aren't giving you the same energy. Give the energy to the people and things that do give you the energy, plain and simple. Because what will happen is, as you feed into that, more of that will come in different formats and in other ways and in other people. My blessings, like I said, since we started this thing, have come 1,000-fold. I've met people and become associates or friends with people who I didn't even think I would ever become friends with, just from talking to you guys on a regular basis and from having fun, because that's what this was about for me, just having fun. I like to see people in great spirits. I like to see people win, and I like to see people having a good time. That's it. All that other stuff I can care less about. Right. I know that we stressed out. I know that the world is crazy. I know sometimes we don't like our kids. Sometimes we don't like our significant others. I got that. That's a part of it. It's part of the journey. Cool. But what's better is saying, what can I do to offset that? And the offsetting usually comes with the simplest things. A text message. Like I said, picking up the phone to call somebody who you may or may not have spoken to in a while. I know for each and every one of y'all, how many times have you gotten a phone call, a text message from somebody and you was like, oh, shoot, kind of made you smile today. It made my soul happy. So you got to think to yourself that you do the same thing when you reach out to certain people, good, bad, and indifferent. And if it's somebody who doesn't appreciate it, it's okay. You didn't do it for their appreciation. You did it because it's the right thing.
That's amazing. I mean, something so simple with such huge impact. You're right. Everybody has that somebody that if they hear from them, it brightens them up. It lightens up the day or the week or the month. You never know to what extent. But if we keep that train of thought and know that, you know what I mean? The same way that there's that person that if you pick the phone, oh my God, how you been, man? Oh shit, I was just thinking about you, whatever. It's somebody that's going to happen to for you as well. You're going to reach out and you're probably just reaching out on some, let me check on my man. And it's the biggest thing in the world on his end though. So you're absolutely right with that. Another step I want to splatter against the wall today and helping yourself. I look at what the work I got to do. Like I saw you, I'm finally getting some things done and clarity and making space out with the old, you know what I mean? Do what you got to do. I think that's the physical version of cleaning house or spring cleaning, some people call it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do that with your life too,
Yes.
You have to, let's look at it like this, because maybe an old analogy for young people. If young people want a new analogy, well, look at it like your computer. You have a computer for a long time. That means you lived for a long time. At some point, you're going to need to clean out your cookies. You're going to need to delete and adjust what's in your cookies because it gets all stocked up, eats up space, whatever the case may be. So for efficiency purposes, you delete and remove. You go into your cookies, you delete and remove. Ask yourself, in your life, if things around you in your daily life, family, friends, work, places you go, places you be, who you be around, the hours you keep, what your intake, what your vices are, is your cookies clean? Should you go into your cookies and delete some shit? You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's what is around us that will keep us going back to the word complacency and stagnation. Sometimes these things are because of the situations that we find ourselves in or who we find ourselves around. Somebody just put the word in there that we need, toxic.
Yes.
Toxic, and I know it sounds like a big crazy ass word, like why are we using the word toxic? But it's a legit word that fits what we're talking about. Something toxic, it chemically breaks down things. In some cases, like we're telling a certain type of acid, it disintegrates it. It breaks it down to particles. You know what I mean? And I think that if you don't delete, if you don't go in your cookies and your life cookies, it don't take much. You really ain't press no buttons. That's the good thing about life. Ain't no real alt and delete. You got to do physically with your hands and charge your computer. You don't have to do that. Look at your life. You know what you do week in, week out. You know who you with week in, week out. You know your schedule. You know the things or whatever. Okay, so what's my plan? Because we had the pandemic. So during the pandemic, you better have a pandemic. So you better be planning on coming out the other side, either sustaining, winning, progressive, motivated. And if you are, show me the difference. And I don't mean literally show me, show you. Show yourself the difference. You should be able to look back. It's like keeping a record. When you look, they say, oh, let me see your records. Your tax people, they want to see your records. The person who do your taxes, they need your records. So you need to look at your records and say, okay, here's my records the whole year before the pandemic. Here's my record since the pandemic. What have you trimmed? What in your cookies have you deleted? What was unnecessary? What was blockage? I don't know about you, but all I got, it's funny because you mentioned chicken sandwiches from Burger King, but all it takes is for me to eat something. I don't give a fuck how good it tastes. If I have a problem of it coming out smoothly, I'm not eating that shit. If it comes out wrong, I'm good. Yeah, it was delicious, whatever, but I don't like the way it came out. I'm on top of my stool, and because it didn't come out right and created blockage or whatever, I gotta delete that. So in real life, we're all grown ass individuals. I'm sure if you sat down and you made a list, you know, you can take some things and go, you know what, I could do without that. I do that, and I'll be honest with you, I do that shit in I had a conversation with Rocco this afternoon, and I had a real conversation with him, and we got on some comedy talk shit, and I was like explaining to him where, you know, at this stage in the game, for the last, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, you can easily be one and done with me as a person in the business. Like, at this stage of the game, the one thing talent's going to do is what he say he's going to do. If I say to you, yeah, 15, I'm coming, and $200, I'll be there for $200. So I expect the same on the other side. So when the other side doesn't hold up to their bargain, you're done. I'm going to finish my job because nobody's ever going to say that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. But guess what? You can't call me no more. You can't get another favor. I can't do your thing no more because you're moving different than me. And to me, that's going, it's going backwards. It's not 1988. It's 2021. I'm not going backwards, for one. And for two, that shit is toxic in my world. So yes. I got to go to my cookies. Once again, go down that list. Oh, I don't need that no more. Delete. When I look at my phone, I don't know about the rest of y'all, I look at my phone with these smartphones. Sometimes when you change phones and you transfer over the contacts and all that, sometimes it's doubles and triples of the same contact.
Yep.
Why? I got to get rid of 2 of those. I got 3 Mike B's. They're all the same. I got to delete 2 of those because they're not serving a purpose.
Yeah. Facts. You gave another really great caveat to, like you said, staying motivated and doing things and using word and verbiage that, also is right up there. Something else that, like it's another conversation I had with a different friend was something similar. I had spoken to her about, some things that was going on in her world. And we had this really great conversation. I'm always, trying to tell her specific things like, this is what I see, in your world. This is what I see happening for you and with you. But, you have to be honest with yourself about things that you see going on in your world as well. No matter how much a good friend, a family member, an associate, brother, sister, or whatever tells you some stuff, if you don't see it for yourself, it really doesn't make a difference. But long story short, she had gone to have a medium reading or whatever you call those people. And the interesting thing is all the stuff that I told her, the medium told her the same exact stuff. So she's telling me the story and she's like, yeah, the medium told me. So after she told me the whole story, she said, Amir, I know you're going to say it. And I said, no, I'm not going to say it. I said, because one thing that I don't do is I don't tell people I told you so. I really do share with you what I see and what I think, because I'm hoping that you'll take the information and process it in a way that is beneficial to you. I'm not here to tell people what's right and wrong, because I know for myself, sometimes I've had people tell me specific things that I couldn't see or didn't understand in that moment. So for me, I had to work to get to that space. And for all of us, that's the same thing we all go through. Don't sit here and, I'm holier than thou. Like Talon said earlier, I know everything. No, you don't. Everything, every moment is a learning experience. Everything is a learning experience, whether it's somebody on the streets, whether it's, like I said, friend or foe, everything is a learning experience if you're opening yourself to learning. Because as I said on one of our other shows, if you're not learning and growing, then you're actually dying. So that's something for y'all to think about. But I'm sharing that because, to Talon's point about what he just said, we have to really be conscious of everything, like I said, that's going on in your world, because it all adds up to what eventually becomes a part of your reality. And for each and every one of us, I would like to believe you all are looking for the best reality that you can possibly create. Why? Because when you're in that reality, when you're in that energy, like I said, things just continue to flow in a way that is so, so beautiful. I have, this summer, just based off of hanging out with Talon and, again, getting to meet so many of you beautiful people, who are part of the family now and still, have yet to meet. It's so cool when I actually get to meet some of y'all, because I'm like, oh, all right, y'all just as cool as y'all in the comments. So kudos to you. And, it's a beautiful thing because now you got new people to share and bounce things off of. Some of y'all know for a fact, I'll send y'all stuff and comedy stuff and stuff to laugh at. Why? Because we need to laugh. You need to smile. You need to
Right.
be in, like I said, as greater energy as you can be. Don't sit around all day, every day, just being frustrated and mad. That hasn't ever worked out to give anybody anything in life. Trust and believe when I tell you. You can look at friends, you can look at family, you can look at your workplace. Y'all know y'all all got that one crazy person on the job who's always complaining about everything. Nobody promotes me. The job sucks. They mad every day. You like, I don't know why you mad every day. You know you got to come in here and do what we got to do. That's just what it is. But we have to understand that you got to really focus. And like I said, when I tell you your words and your thoughts control so much of that, I can't stress that enough because I know for myself personally, like I said, I always try to start my day with a prayer where I thank Allah, in my case, for all of the beautiful things going on in my world, for my immediate family. And then I always say to my extended family, because obviously my immediate family includes my daughters, my grandkids, my brothers and sisters, my mother and father, and then my extended family includes each and every one of y'all. So I'm looking for blessings for every one of y'all as well, because if we blessed, what do we got to be upset about? What do we got to be mad at?
Let me tell you a funny exercise a man once told me. This was like, I was in like one of the islands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, them island motherfuckers, they got some good ass shit. They got some good shit to live by. I want to say St. Croix or some shit. Virgin Islands. I remember sitting with this old dude, and he was like, I don't know, like the groundskeeper or some of the resort or something. You know, he had one of those nice blue collar, like landscaping jobs. So, you know, he was in charge of all that shit. And we were just kicking it and I'm drinking fucking rum punch or something. And the dude said something, and we was talking about, I think one of the comedians was by like the pool area, by the beach, by pool, and we're complaining about other comedians or something that happened. And, you know, we joke and we fuck around, joke and bringing him in, and he really dropped a jewel, right? So motherfucker was like, I was like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Tell him, bro. And he was like, what? What's going on? I said, you know, the people do you wrong, man. You do them wrong back, or just get them out of your life or whatever. And he was like, yeah. He said, everybody in my life right now, you know, they over the years, he said, I'm in a good place. Everybody in there has a good place, and vice versa in their lives, in my life. And he's like, and I'm like, what'd you do? He said, no, over the years, I just pay attention to physical things we do to each other, how we talk to each other, and what do we bring to the table for each other in life. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, I'm gonna tell you what you do. He said, you have a bunch of pictures at home? I said, yeah. He said, when you go home, go through your pictures over the years. Just pull up old pictures and see how each picture, when you come across pictures with family and friends, how it makes you feel. He said, if you're looking at pictures with friends and family and you smiling and be like, man, and because your feelings and your emotion is attaching to the visual and it's bringing up good feelings and good memories. He said, that was good for you. He said, but you come across a picture of a motherfucker, this motherfucker. He said, that's not good. So the guy you called the motherfucker, I hope he's no longer in your life. He said, go through all your pictures and do that. And he said, your internal, he said, because a lot of shit is subconscious. He said, so a lot of the things we say and do, we already preordained it ourselves. Our reaction is already sitting at the top of the membrane, like, if you will, your brain, it's on ready. He said, but there's untapped parts of your brain, and that's where the subconscious comes in, that there's a lot of shit going on subconsciously that you probably inadvertently tucked it away. You don't even know you're doing it. You tucked it away and you're just carrying on with your life or whatever until that trigger thing. He said, and then that trigger thing brings up the subconscious and you go, yo. He said something simple like we always talk about friends. Remember I said, like, you ever have that friend you haven't seen in a long time and you stop hanging with, lost contact, and then you seen them on Facebook or you seen them at an event and go, yo, my man was there. Goddamn, yo. Why not stop fucking with this dude? Give me a number. Let's change numbers. You change numbers. You go out one time, and in 10 minutes into that shit, you like, this why I stopped fucking with this nigga, man. because it was in your subconscious. That's why you saying to yourself, why did I? You really can't. It's not on deck. You know, normally if someone on deck, you go, nah, I don't fuck with son. He steals, or you know, he shot my brother, anything. But if we all do it, we be like, yo, it's my man. Yo, why did I stop fucking with him? And then you go somewhere, you spend some time around him, and somewhere along the line, the epiphany drips from the subconscious, and you had an epiphany moment and sit back and sigh and go, this is why I stopped fucking with this. But I thought it was a great exercise.
It really is.
Yo, go through your pictures. And I did that shit. And I was like, I had maybe 100, 200 pictures because I had thousands, but at least I went through 100, 150, 200 pictures. And I was like, yo. And I wasn't cleaning the house. I just wanted to see the exercise of it. And the one thing that came to fucking fruition right away was, I said, yo, mad emotions was all over the place at certain pictures. Yeah. And I was like, I never looked at it like that. And it puts me back to a nostalgic moment because I wasn't the picture guy. My mom, before she died, God bless my mom, in the middle of the fucking movie was like, I would come off the road from these places, obviously hundreds of places my mother never had the opportunity to go see. And she's like, oh my God, you had fun? What was it? And she's like smiling and wanting to hear the story and live vicariously through me. And she was like, you got pictures? I was like, nah. She was like, you got to take pictures. And I was like, Mom, I can't be taking pictures, man. I'm busy. I'm doing blah, blah. Get a fucking camera. The worst thing you do is tell your mother, she already got the plan. You can't tell her the anti-plan. I was like, Mom, I ain't got time to get the goddamn camera.
You know what's so crazy to your exact point with that story? So, again, like I told you, Saturday, we doing our thing with the pop-up brunch. So there's a gentleman named DJ Tommy Lee. He's part of the Violators. So they were
Tommy
there.
Lee.
You know Tommy Lee. So they were there. And Ali was there. And Tommy came, in support of Ali. So I didn't know that Tommy was going to be there. And I haven't seen Tommy in some time. But, I run around with Tommy. His 50th birthday, I was there. He used to do these barbecues up at Bear Mountain. I used to always, go to the barbecues. And Big Chris Brooks used to hang out with me. And he knew Tommy. So, all of them grew up together. Again, the basketball community, our basketball crew. So he was getting ready to leave because he had something else to go take care of. And I said, yo, Tommy, I don't have a picture with you. So he said, you know what, Amir, you're absolutely right. So we stopped, took a quick selfie to your point about the pictures. And he said to me just before he ran out the door, he said, Amir, I got to tell you something. He said, you're one person who he said, I got to honestly tell you, I am always so happy when I see you. He said, even if you don't say anything, you're just somebody who, when I see them, my energy automatically goes to 1,000 and I just feel good. And all I could do was think to myself, I was like, yo, that's crazy, Tommy. I said, because I was just as ecstatic to see you. Some years ago, God rest this particular DJ, and Tommy's a DJ for some of y'all who may or may not know, but is an incredible DJ. He took me to go see this DJ who was this really big white DJ down in the city. And this guy was like, back then, this was before I even knew that DJs could do all this. His set, he was doing stuff like playing cartoon, like during the party. Like he had cartoon music going and people was partying. I mean, everybody was in there sweating. I was like, yo, he's playing cartoons. How we partying the cartoons? I was sitting there lost. But when I say he had the spot rocking, I mean, he had the spot rocking. I was like, yo, whoever this dude is, he is the truth. He said, Amir, this dude is one of the biggest DJs in the world. Like I said, he was a very known DJ. I forgot what happened to him. I forget if he died by accident or, got killed some strange way. But from it opened my mind to how, to your point about whether we, like you said, we talk about comedy, we talk about music, or whatever it is you do. And this is why I always encourage people, even though we always see that there are formats of things that exist, there are always new ways to add to it. Why? Because your brand or your energy or what and how you see things is different from how everybody else sees things. And when you bring that to light and you bring that to fruition, it incredibly changes the game on so many levels, because now the people, to something that Talon also said earlier, who are complacent now have to open up and go, oh my goodness, this person added a new level of energy to this thing. And even though I've been good and I'm solid and people know me and people follow me and people love me, you're forcing me to now have to dig in my bag. And I always say this, I think the greatest thing that any and all of us can do is force each other to dig in our bags. Because the more we dig in our bags, the greater the whole entire thing will be. Not just you as an individual, but as a collective, things will be great. Because what happens is now everybody's giving that same kind of energy and everybody's putting forth that same kind of train of thought. And you can't beat that with a baseball bat. I mean that with every bit of my being. So I always encourage everybody. If you're a baker, continue to bake, continue to make up recipes that nobody's seen, heard of, or thought of. But understand that when you bring it to the world, you're gonna force somebody who already thought that they was dope to be like, wait a minute, now I gotta go in my bag because you done pull something out on me, forcing me to have to go in my bag. Yeah, you better go in your bag because that's what we doing over
here. That's what makes the world go round. That's what brings you greatness. You if greatness has to have something to compare to, something to B compete with, and something to C be greater or better than. You have to strive for something. So this is how you get and accumulate to what we call or know as greatness. Without it, everything gets stagnation. Perfect example. I'm gonna give you an example of how people of color, predominantly Black people, creative level is different. When faced with adversity, you will see the best shine through on a person of color. Time and time again, hands down. I could go through the history, whether it's sports, entertainment, current events, politics. We can look at everything. Whenever we are faced with adversity, that next level of creativity pulls through somehow, some way, some form of fashion. That's how we get the word better, right? Now, our counterparts, however, we don't see the same from them all the time. I will take the film industry real quick. The film industry, I don't know if you've been paying attention, for the last decade, made a conscious decision 10 years ago, maybe a little more, that for because you got to realize 10 years ago is what we call the big shutdown. About a dozen years ago. In Hollywood, we had what we call the big Black shutdown. So you started to see less Black productions, television, film, all the comedy shows went off the air. So all that stuff that we had in the 90s and 2000s, they got rid of all that. BET Comic View, Def Jam, Bad Boys of Comedy, even the Black ones on Comedy Central, Showtime at the Apollo, the Uptown, all of those shows just slowly said, and was gone for a clump of time. This was called the Big Black Shutdown, right? So now during the Big Black Shutdown, now you shut Black people down, which is a streaming river of creativity. Not just the people in front of the camera. I'm talking about the writing people, the grips that do all the hard work and labor, the producers, the directors, the showrunners, all of these people, including the actors. There was a big stoppage, right? So what did our counterparts do? You think they took that moment to become bigger and better creators? No. What they did was made a conscious Hollywood decision that over the next decade or so, 15 years, everything that came out, and as soon as I say it, everybody's going to go, oh, shit. Everything that came out, 80% to be exact, 82% of the productions, television and film, were remakes.
Yes, this
is how lacking creativity when faced with adversity. Now, see, they always say, careful what you wish for, because that was, I believe, and my conspiracy thinking, I believe that chunk of time and that decision making, because nobody just wakes up and stops everything that just happens to be minorities and Black. So I think it was a movement that was sent to kind of cap us off and teach a lesson. But sometimes when you do stuff like that, you don't think of the big picture. You don't think ahead of that curve. So ahead of that curve was you stunt your own creative in-house. your creative consultants and your producers and your writers and your directors and your actors and your singers and all of this stuff, musicians, because of the stoppage, you're forced to deal in-house with the others and play well with the others. So in playing well with the others, the best thing they came up with, Amir, was 80% of what we're going to watch for the next 15 years is going to be remakes.
You know, it's so crazy that you actually put that and hit the nail on the head with that, because you are absolutely right. And again, it just goes to show you, and this is why, like I said, if you don't wake up every morning and look at yourself in the mirror and know that you are highly favored, blessed, amazing, dope, probably the greatest thing since sliced bread, and more, then I don't know what to tell you. Because to Talent's point, what is it that we don't either raise the bar or make 1,050,000,000% better when given the opportunity? Like, I want y'all to really think about that. Gymnastics right now. Y'all see our girl? She's killing gymnastics. You see the beautiful sister who's killing tennis. The list goes on and on and on. And like I said, that's just in that realm. To Talent's point about political, we see what the beautiful sister did down in Georgia. She changed the whole election and won us a president and the whole nine. So when you really start looking at, again, how divinely blessed we really are, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm not knocking any other groups of people. That's not what I'm saying here. This is why I always find it so funny when people go, oh, we upset when y'all are having Black Pride. What else are we supposed to have? Y'all can't. What would you do without us? What would you do without us? We've been the best of everything to y'all. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Cooking, clothing, you name it, it's us. Every single solitary time. I watched boxing last night. Like I said, that match was absolutely horrible. It was like a car crash that you couldn't turn away from, but you had to watch it because, first and foremost, you knew Floyd Mayweather at some point was going to do what Floyd Mayweather does best, which is become the boxer that we have all come to know, either know and love, or love, know and hate. But either way, you knew that was coming. It's the same thing for watching the NBA. A lot of us are happy that LeBron is home. So now, yes, we get an opportunity to see some of the new guard and see some of these new kids. But let's be honest, you couldn't wait to see LeBron win or lose, because that's what box office really is. Watching this guy go through what Talent just described as his own versions of greatness and having to dig either a little bit deeper, having to see whether or not the guys have to have the fortitude around them to fight the same way he wants to fight. And sometimes that doesn't happen. One of the things that we also, again, what we touched on a little earlier, you have to be honest with yourself about, is realizing that maybe the people around you may or may not have that same drive and energy that you do, which is okay. But then you need to leave them in the room that they're in, because you're headed into a different room. You're headed down a different path. You got a different journey. You got a different vision, and there's nothing wrong with that. But know that means that you may have to walk portions of that vision and portions of that journey by yourself, because nobody knows that journey and that vision better than you. Nobody.
And that, my friends, is a factamundo right there. I'm just going to recap some bullet points in case somebody came in here late. It's like, what the hell is Amir and Talent talking about? Well, we're talking about good shit. We're talking about staying motivated. And we do it on a Monday because it's the American front of the week. And we are, unfortunately, this is home. We are Americans. We started off talking about, again, I plugged the show Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix, because the most interesting thing in there is when you see the episode where it shows how they got these powers bestowed upon them to become superheroes. It was because they were deemed worthy. Now, mind you, people have been sorting this place out to get these powers for centuries. When they go in there and find dead bodies, they find dead Vikings, dead Christians, dead Greeks. Like, people from all over the world journeyed there. But the bones are there because these people either killed each other or killed themselves, went crazy. They just wasn't worthy. of stepping outside of the box, which was with themselves. Make sure that you're worthy, people. Make sure you are around people that make you feel worthy. And more importantly, make sure those people are worthy to be hanging around you and don't mess up your space, time, and bubble and energy. All right. Amir brought up a great one. Self-love. How can you tell me with an honest to God voice and heart that you love something and you don't love oneself? That is the most awesome superhero power that you already have that may or may not choose to use. The power of self-love. Trust me, you get to that place where you love yourself, sky's the limit. Those are the people, Amir, with the long-lasting marriages. Those are the 40, 50-year-old marriages. Those are the real death do us parts, right?
Yes.
Another word we tapped on, and we just tapped on it again a few times, complacency. It goes hand in hand with the first two. People that's around you that's worthy, people that exercise self-love. And if you have self-love, because if not, you get caught in what we call stagnation. And some people will end up, believe it or not, being happy and feel good enough being stagnated. They are complacent. You want to stay away from complacency. Thoughts and words. Amir said, be very careful. The two most important, deadliest things or best things you have control of are your thoughts and your words. They could go either way. They could uplift a person in a heartbeat, and they can depress a person in a heartbeat. And like on the episode of The Shy I was watching, when the young lady, the sister, was talking to the brother, and she was like, yo, she was like, you got to talk to somebody. Because she realized he was going through something in his head. So you got to talk to somebody. Because if you don't talk to nobody, keep a bottle up, you end up talking to yourself only. And when you talk to yourself only, you don't have any answers. You got all questions. Am I worthy? Do anybody even care? Will they miss me if I'm gone? You know what the next thing is. That's the step ladder to suicide.
Precursor.
Depression.
Yes,
So
sir.
your thoughts and words are super important. Amir also said this hour, your ability or our ability to create. Exercise that. That is another superhero power you already possess. You don't have to go like in the show. You don't have to go to Morocco. You have the ability to create. Or the other version, you said either or. Like you have the ability to create or destroy. So let's be worthy and wary and pay. Definitely be conscious of these things, man. I brought up the thing about comparing analogy to your computer. When you work on your computer, you have it for a certain amount of time. At some point, you're going to go clean out your cookies. You're going to go into the cookies and delete your cookies. Well, apply that to life. What about life's cookies? What about looking at inside and outside around yourself and say, I don't need this, I don't need that. This is slowing me down. This is working against me. This is a hurdle. This is a speed bump. This is causing blockage, whatever it is. The same way you would do with your computer, do it with your life. Life's cookies need to be deleted too sometimes. One of people on here threw the word out there, toxic. So we're talking about deleting things and removing things. That's what you're looking for. What is around me or trying to be around me that's toxic? You know what I mean? Like, so get rid of the toxic things in one's life or in the path of a path you may be going down. You may be going down the path and notice a few toxic hurdles or speed bumps in the way. You got to Heisman that shit. You got to jump over that shit. You got to Simone Biles flip over that shit. You know what I mean? Do the impossible and do what you got to do. I gave an example of what an old dude told me in, I think, what did I say was? St. Croix. Yes. And St. Croix, when he said, listen, check your photo feelings, because you have a lot of feelings that are subliminal or in your subconscious. Check your photo feelings. A good exercise is when you got some free time, go into your photos, find your old photos from years ago, and just go through them. Some people was in their phones. Go through them. See how those photos make you feel with other people. Are these people that bring up anger, resentment, envy? Or these people bring up joy and you start smiling and bringing up old memories and reminiscing and be like, oh man, let me reach out to them. Go through that. Check your feelings. That'll give you a gauge of who you do need to be around and or not. And last but not least, you said we all should dig in our bags. That was the last point, Amir made when he did this. I hope that everybody kind of got these 10, 11 points, these bullet points that we expounded on throughout the hour. Like I know you can always come back to this on WEMSradio.com and watch the hour over again. But this has been Motivation Monday. And as usual, I like to close out with a positive word from my comrade, Amir Seal.
Hey, as I tell y'all all the time, it's just one thing, and take this into your week, take it into your life, drink it in. It's nice to be important. It's much more important to be nice. Just you trust and believe when I tell you, when you start incorporating that into your daily life, into things that you do, you're going to see all kind of doors and all kind of things opening up in ways that you couldn't even begin to imagine. And it's really just going to be because you're doing the most humane thing you can do, and that's help people. So with that, y'all help one another, love on one another, check on each other, and just continue to be all the amazing, dope people that you are. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love your comments, and I love the fact that y'all tune in and give myself and talent a platform and something and some people to speak to every single solitary week. So I love you guys. Thank you.
And thank you guys again for tuning in with us. We can't do it without you. Stay motivated. Peace, King.
Peace, King.